So, about 2 years ago, I made a tier list for Pokemon games. Here's that tier list. And I'm not too happy with it, looking back at it. So today I'm gonna redo the entire tier list, but I'm gonna give my new opinions on them. And this will be a Star series where I go back and redo some older tier lists and try to remind myself what I did wrong. So let me open that back up real quick. Sorry. I just gotta get back to that. So, first up is Pokemon Red and Blue, which I ranked B before, and I think, honestly, I don't know if people will be mad at this, but it's a C tier, going back to it. Because my biggest gripe with Red and Blue is it's super glitchy. They have not aged well, perchance. The glitches are pretty unbearable in some cases. No special attacks sucks. Psychic types were unbeatable, and it's just hard to make excuse for glitches by saying it's old, because yeah, it's old, but there are also some older games that don't have that many glitches. But I don't fully blame Game Freak. First big game, and I think they did a good job still, because I still think this is a pretty solid game from back then, Red and Blue. And I own the blue copy, but Red can still fire. And next is Pokemon Yellow, and Yellow is B tier. There's a lot of glitches to it. It's nicer to have less glitches. While the psychic type thing was fixed, Ghost was now super effective against it instead of being weak to it. And I like the Pokemon, like the show type deal, but kind of like the manga, which I'm pretty sure the manga came out after. But you start with Pikachu, you can get the 3 starters, go through your journey. It's really, really nice. Before I rank this at A tier, and I'm bringing down B tier just because, you know, it's just, I feel like the one problem with the singular starter is that it doesn't encourage as much tradability between games, because everyone that bought Yellow has the same access to Pokemon. And I think that's just the only big problem with it. And also, I guess, it's just the same game, but just different starters and couple different features. But it's a pretty solid game. Now, Pokemon Crystal and Pokemon Gold, I put A tier before, and I think I'll hold that standard. I honestly think they are mighty fine games. I think there's tons of stuff to do. The only thing holding it back from S tier, honestly, is glitches. Well, not glitches. There are some, but leveling. I'll call it leveling curve is absolutely atrocious. You start low level, and I think some Pokemon I had weren't even fully evolved by the time I get to Elite 4, but I could be wrong. I think that's the biggest problem. Other than that, honestly, the games were really, really good. And unless you're not into like Pokemon, like that RPG style, then you'll like this game. You have the feature of cut. You have custom Pokeballs, physical and special split, I believe was this game. No, physical special split was not this game, but they had Dark and Steel to balance stuff out, which was really nice. And new Pokemon, it was supposed to be the ending, so they added in some more features. They let you go back to Kanto. You gotta fight the Elite Four with Lance as a new champion. Blue replaced Giovanni. You got a new story about Team Rocket trying to rise up again, and it was pretty nice. And I actually don't have much complaint, and the ending battle of Red was perfect. Now, Pokemon Crystal. Before I ranked the A tier, And at that, I'm gonna go S tier. Pokemon Crystal was everything Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver were, but improved. Now it was Suicune. You could get access to both legendaries, which I'm pretty sure you could. I'm not 100% sure. New sprite animations. It was honestly overall just an improvement. Leveling was still pretty bad, but I think just nice change of life features create S tier. And it could probably, honestly, if you fix that level, if they make a remake that's completely true to this, and they fix leveling, could be one of the best Pokemon games we could ever have. Probably the best. Now, Ruby and Sapphire. Last time, I ranked these games A, and I'm standing by that. It's another one I'm standing by. I think Hoenn is an amazing region, first of all. I love the layout. The water, some people have complaints about, but I honestly like the water because it plays into the theme of land versus sea. Again, the villains were amazing. Legendary is great, and the journey was good. So amazing Pokemon designs. And originally, it was supposed to be you could only use Pokemon from this generation, but they scrapped the idea, which is why you have so many original Pokemon that they kept. And actually, I think they scrapped very few, and they scrapped the weaker ones. And story was good. I love Steven as champion, very charming. Good amount of like code content back then, because they did events and not just like giveaways. And honestly, I can't see much wrong with the game. And the starters trio to this day is the best starter trio we have had in Pokemon. And next is Emerald, which I put S tier before, and I'll stand by S tier. I think Emerald is an improvement of Ruby and Sapphire in every way. Every single thing you could do for Ruby and Sapphire improved in Emerald. Especially story-wise, you can now do both Aqua and Magma, which at the same game. And it's not like it was different routes, so you'd have to go back and replay it. No, same game, same save file. You had Rayquaza, a cool little thing with the story. You had a new champion, which was really nice because you didn't have to fight Steven again, and you could still fight Steven after post game. And they had a new gym leader replace Wallace, who was the before gym, ice gym leader instead of water gym leader, which is I think pretty sick. Then you had sorry, I've talked a lot. Then you had good amount of post-game contents. The Reggies were there. They had Deoxys, which was code, but you can hack your device for that. You could get both Groundon Kyogre, and honestly, I think it was just prevented every way of Ruby and Sapphire. I will say I had S+, SS, and SSS, but I'm not gonna do that. Not unless I think a game is exceptional or phenomenal, and I think that's Rayquaza here in Emerald. Next are Red and Blue, or not Red, Fire Red and Leaf Green. Before I put S tier, I'm gonna renounce that and not even move it down just to A tier. I have to move it down to B tier. I do think this is the best way to play Kanto. Fire Red and Leaf Green. I think it captures all the charms original with having different glitches, physical special split, but the biggest problem is the required Sebi Islands and the fact that it's Kanto. And nothing bashing Kanto. Kanto is a good generation, a good region. It's just that it's a rehashing, which you can't go too hard with or too far with. And I just think it did its job on what it needed to do. He remade the games perfectly. He improved it. I liked the red and leaf green now, although it would be nice to see 3 versions maybe. No difference, just I encourage trading because different Pokemon be exclusive, just like the originals. To be fair, every game did that, but except the singular games. And I just think the games are overall really good. I feel like I can't really say too much about it and why I don't think it's S and A, because I just think the S and A tiers are a lot better. They're solid games. I can't put them below. Can't put them above. Next is Diamond and Pearl. Some people will be really mad at me for this. Before I put them A tier, I have to say Diamond and Pearl are B tier games. Some people act like Diamond and Pearl are S tier, but My biggest gripes with Diamond Pearl is how slow it is. Because if you ever played Diamond Pearl, those games are infathomably slow. Imagine this was the health bar up here, from right here to right here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at my mouse. Imagine you got one shot by a Pokemon. This is how slow your health bar go down. And that's probably going like a bit fast or that same speed. It was unimaginably slow. Fire types were terrible. I'm pretty sure it was only Infernape. I don't even think Ponyta was in the game. The fire type gym leader didn't use, or Elite Four didn't use the fire types. Cynthia was probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest, Pokemon character to fight in history. And I just think that the game had gripes, but the lore was still there, the games were still fun, and I loved the Pokemon. But next is Platinum, which I do think is S tier. Instead of your health bar going down so short as it was before, look at my mouse up here, top right. This is how fast it would go down. So not so much faster, but it was a good amount faster, which made the game a lot more bearable. And it was just nice. It was just a nice change of pace. They fixed Flint having only fire types, or not having fire types. Cynthia, they replaced one of her Pokemon. I could not remember what it is, but she was still really hard. The opponent's levels were brought down a bit, like Gym Leader and stuff, to make the game slightly less challenging. Because one of the biggest problems with Diamond Pearl, which isn't, okay, it's not a terrible thing, but like, as a kid it was pretty bad, is how hard it is. And if you just want to play casually, it didn't feel like a casual game, but Platinum felt more casual. And Giratina Distortion World was amazing, and it was overall improved. Next are Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which before I put in like S+, but I don't have that. And I put them in S, and I have to stand by that. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are just complete improvements of Gold and Silver. Now you have Pokemon following you, you have very new Pokeballs, and you have the Pokeballs. I didn't praise the Pokeballs in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. They were lacking, but not, so they got rid of those and got some much better Pokeballs. Yeah, following, not much changed, like literally just graphics and a few things, and I'm pretty sure the available like past legendaries were in there. There's some other legendaries, not past, but you know. And I just think the games were really, really good and did well with that. I just think it's a complete improvement of Gold and Silver. Now next are Pokemon Black and White, and these are the top of S. Pokemon Black and White is the epitome, or not the, I won't say epitome. Pokemon Black and White was the first example of what Pokemon games should be. I just think there is no real fault. At first, Pokemon Black and White wasn't as popular when it came out, just because people hated Pokemon designs. But over the years, people have realized, yeah, the older Pokemon designs weren't much better. Like Muck from Gen 1. They were pretty basic. But Black and White improved. In fact, most of my favorite Pokemon come from Black and White, or Gen 5, Unova. I think they're just really, really good games. The speed you fight in battles is amazing. Probably one of the greatest stories we'll ever get told in Pokemon. And I just think they exceptionally did with this game. Villains, characters, all. It just, everything felt wrapped together nicely. And remember how I said I wouldn't make a tier above unless a game was exceptionally well? Well, that's this tier. SS tier. One of my favorite games of all time, and what I believe is the best Pokemon game, in my opinion, is Black 2 and White 2. I believe that these games are masterpieces. I rate very few games 10 out of 10. Not even all my top 10 games I say are 10 out of 10. But these games I generally believe. The pace was amazing. Everything about these games was perfect. The only fault is the required Pokeball Star Studios, but that didn't take long enough for me to care about it that much. Some people say, oh, it's not 10 out of 10 because that. I don't care about that. It's fun, and I actually did have a bit of fun with that. The post game, amazing. Tons of different stuff you could do. Legendaries. You could go to the, well, I forget what it's called, but like the Battle Dome or whatever, and fight past trainers, including champions. I'm pretty sure you could fight Red in there, and it was great. Everything Black and White did improved. You of course had the Unova Pokemon, which were the only Pokemon you could use in Black and White, but now you have access to other Pokemon. Not all, still primarily focused on Black and White Pokemon, but it was really nice. I just think these games are magnum opuses, and you can't say they're not. Or you can't say they're not at least 9 out of 10. The speed, amazing. Rotation battles, triple battles. I'm pretty sure triple battles are in Black and White, but not rotation battles. I'm almost sure of it. I just think the games, this game outdid itself. Game Freak peaked when it reached those games. And our next is, and also those were at the top of my list. That was the top of my list. Same, Black and White was second. But next is X and Y. X and Y, before I rated these games A tier, and I think I'm gonna go B tier, honestly. I just think I kind of overrated them because of Mega Evolution. Mega Evolution, don't get me wrong, it's an amazing mechanic. The best mechanic we've had in Pokemon for original stuff. But I think the biggest problem with these games is they're super, super easy. And the games are slow. Not as slow as Diamond Pearl, of course, but they're still pretty slow. Mega Evolution and the lore helped that game amazingly. The rivals were terrible. Gym battles were half fun, were half good, half bad. I think the Leaf 4 was easy, but I think everything built around the game makes it a good game. The evil villains were amazing. AZ I loved, and I'm so glad we're getting a continuation of them, because for so long we wanted Pokemon C. And yeah, that's my opinion on that game. Now Mega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, I put S tier last time, and I have to conclude I stay the same with that. I think this is Hoenn at its finest and both least finest, if that makes sense. Because I do think the base game I prefer Emerald. However, they kind of recognize the lack of Rayquaza story in Ruby and Sapphire, and added they added the Delta story, which is a post-game story focusing on Deoxys and Rayquaza. And Deoxys is no longer a exclusive Pokemon. You can now get him in the game, which is kind of nice because I think Deoxys is a really cool Pokemon, and locking him behind a code that you couldn't get anymore was pretty sad. So this game improved majorly. You now have the new forms for the legendaries, making it not just like, a rehash of the same legendary. The lack of the Latios can fly around in was really nice. Mega Evolutions were amazing. The starters all had Mega Evolutions, and they were all great. Still rep Sceptile in the game. I think he had my favorite. He had a tree miss out. You had Pokemon contests, which I'm pretty sure were in Black, were X and Y, and they're really good. It's just, you can't gripe. And they also changed some designs for the better. The Team Aqua members were more like tan. Like, they were more tan, like darker skin, more like me, Hispanic-ish. To like recognize that they're on the beach and stuff. I of course know they're not Hispanic. They're supposed to be Japanese, I'm pretty sure, because that's what Hoenn's based on. Gens 1 through 4 are. And yeah, I just think the games are really, really good, and the post-game content is riddled. Tons and tons of legendaries you could capture. And then the only thing lacking is there's a battle tower, not battle tower, or battle hotel, whatever it was, and not a battle, not like Emerald where it had the entire battle league. I forget what it's called, but you know what I mean. The big island with all the stuff, which I forgot to mention for another reason. But I think that's the only thing lacking. Next is Sun and Moon, which I originally rated C tier, and I'm gonna have to go with that again, above Red and Blue. I think Sun and Moon's gripe, the biggest issue, is the Z moves are pretty stupid. looking, which isn't entirely their fault. It's the 3DS, but they also just weren't hard games. I think the story's actually pretty good. Everything's really good except for balance in terms of Pokemon. Like some Pokemon you couldn't evolve until Victory Road, like ice type Pokemon required ice, because so you're stuck with like first stage Pokemon for most of the game, like Crabominable. You could not evolve Raw into Crabominable until late game. Same with Eevee to Glaceon. Some of the bosses weren't the best, but the other reason is because down here are Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, which are better versions of Sun and Moon. You got the Necrozma in this, and I think it's A tier, by the way. You got Necrozma, who adds a new little part of the story, which you fight Ultra Necrozma at the end after you fuse with whichever box art legendary you chose. It's just phenomenal. It's just an amazing game. I won't say phenomenal because that's like S and then Black and White 2. But I think the game's mighty fine. Z moves are still pretty stupid. But I think the best thing about both Sun Moon and Ultra Sun Moon is keeping Mega Evolutions post game. Because the one big issue of Mega Evolutions is they were pretty broken, even though people like them. But I like keeping them post game. Didn't add too much. Z moves were actually, I'll say this, Z moves in both games actually did help a bit, because you could get like one big move and it wasn't like infinite. And also I think the games just are really nice. The post game content's there. You can get another Cosma, whatever it's called, to evolve it into like Solgaleo or Lunala, depending on time of day. It's just, they're good games. I don't know what to say about them too much. And I like how they actually, Necrozma was in Pokemon Sun and Moon, but didn't do anything. And wow, that is an ad after that long of the background music. Even though I had a thing, I gotta do this real quick because my background on Opera GX, which the music playing, is the Scallion theme. And next is Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. They're C tier. I think I like the partners. The partners are really cool. They get their own special moves. Eevee gets Zippy Zap. I don't remember what. I'm pretty sure he gets Zippy Zap. I don't remember what Pikachu got because I didn't play Pikachu. I had a friend who did. I think it's funny how they try to introduce the Pokemon Go mechanic into it. And I like the rehatching in Gen 1 with the new style. It's a bit, not chibi art, but like, you know, a lot. It's what you would think it would be. Some new trainers for main characters. And honestly, the games are overhated. I think it's different, which I like. It broke the Pokemon formula. Now, will I say why are they in C tier? It's Gen 1 again. What I do like is Pokemon Yellow again, which does bring it up a bit. It's Gen 1. And the next big problem, is, of course, the, words are hard, aren't they? Especially when you're speaking as many words as I am right now. But, I've been speaking like 23 minutes straight, and I'm not usually doing that, so yeah, sorry about that. But I think it's far too easy. Since the game lets you level up Pokemon like hatching, and you no longer have to battle wild Pokemon, you can just get leveling up super easy. And I think that's the one big gripe. I think it should have all been done how you do the legendary birds in the game. You battle Pokemon, and after it, you can catch it. It should have a yes or no want to catch after. You click yes, you catch it. No, you don't have to catch it. I just think that would have been really nice to work with. Make you have to fight every make you have to work for Pokemon. And yeah. My throat is a bit dry, so I'll get water after this video. I'm sorry for talking about that. And yeah. And also the 2-controller thing where you can have 2 controllers and just use 2 people double battle against one Pokemon was a bit an oversight to make the game easier. Next are Sword and Shield, which are D tier. Now, the reason Sword and Shield are D tier is mainly the lies Nintendo gave us. They were not new animations. That's not why they cut out a Pokemon. They could have just, all they had to tell us was to save space. But to say they want to work on new Pokemon focused animations was a lie that I don't think anybody will ever forgive Great Game Freak for. Gigantamaxing, I believe that's what it's called. The one that just makes you bigger, not the one that makes you change form bigger, one that just makes you bigger, is one of the, I think, the worst mechanic we've had in Pokemon. You just make them bigger and it sucks. That's all you do. You get some cool moves, sure, but like, they're very overpowered. And it's actually not even overpowered, they just like add effects. But when you play as like a normal Pokemon, I've still one-shotted Gigantamax Pokemon. And I feel like you couldn't really do that with Mega Evolutions. And I know it's hard to compare, but if you're going to make different alternate forms of Pokemon, then yeah, it's going to be compared to Mega Evolutions. And they honestly should just Mega Evolutions for Pokemon they had in there. They just want to make new Gen 1 forms. I mean, hit my mic there. And the starters were not my favorite. I like Inteleon. I don't like Cinderace, despite I know I'm unpopular, but I just don't like Cinderace that much. And Gorilla Goo, whatever the green rash one is, he's alright. Yeah. Also, the story was just really lazy, letting you use the two legendaries too early instead of feeling rewarded for catching them. It's just not good games. I mean, they're not terrible, but like, if I was to rate them in actual games, it would be like a 4 out of 10. But for so that's like D tier, I guess. Next is BDSP, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. I don't think this was actually out. Let me check. I don't think this. No, this was out actually, and I rated it. Where'd it go? I rated it A tier, which I have to greatly take back and say C tier. I think. Actually, I'll put it B tier. I'll say B tier. My gripe with this game is that they forgot you can walk diagonal, so certain things just don't work. You get soft locked in Candace's gym. Haha, you can say, you can laugh. I said it. I think people do. One complaint I don't understand is the glitch of people playing. Oh, but you can speedrun the game in 1 minute if you try to. I didn't even know about that till after I beat the game, because I literally wasn't like speedrunning. I just want to play the game. I honestly had no problem by playthrough. I think the chibi art style set me off a bit, and it just felt it's the same as normal Diamond Pearl. Just the underground area was a bit of a nice feature, but it wasn't fleshed out enough. Plus, you got Houndour, which is nice. Next is Arceus. Arceus, I'm gonna say top of A tier. I rated S plus last time, but I think that was just because of it came out like not too far after, or like as the video did, and I think A tier is a fair place to put it, because actually I'll move up to S tier, because I think Arceus gave us a break because it was different, completely, never like we've seen Pokemon before, and it was what people wanted from Pokemon, and what they appear to be doing with the new Pokemon A to Z, which I like. They innovated. They're starting to innovate. That shows, and I just think the game is nice. The story was good, a good decent challenge. You had the bosses, all that. I like the game. I like how you can choose to evolve. You can swap out moves. It was. I just think the game was really, really good, phenomenal. And I like the new forms and all that. It's just the time trial. It's just good. Just go play it. And next are Scarlet and Violet, which are D tier. Here's the thing. I'll put them. They are. I honestly think the one thing holding us back is how terrible it performs. If this game performed perfectly fine, I would honestly put B or A. I think this game is amazing and they innovated with it, but it's so unplayable in the state it's in. It runs terribly. You walk in like 2 frames per second. The glitches are fine. Every game has glitches, but some of the glitches are too stupid. The fact that your Pokemon models aren't full, and literally, I could put my Cordon inside like walls, half of him, because it didn't register, and it just registered a player. I think the gym leaders were pretty nice. I liked all gym leaders. They were all fun and stuff. I think the champion was kind of underwhelming. And having to fight Larry again. I mean, I like Larry, but the biggest problem is he's a normal type gym leader in a flying type Elite 4, which is kind of stupid. Just like make a new design. And yeah. And the post game is pretty nice. And DLC is not counting for it because the Sword Shield DC is honestly like a B tier. And I haven't played Scarlet Valley DLC, so I can't say anything. But, and one last thing, don't say it's the Switch to try to justify why it runs bad, because Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, the Mario games that run out there, are all phenomenal games that run fine, even on 30 FPS, and they are amazing. Tears of the Kingdom is not 10, but it's really close. It's like a 9.7 out of 10. So that has no excuse. It's just Nintendo. Or Game Freak. Or Pokemon Company as they're called now. Sorry. But yeah. Thanks for watching. That'll be my end of my video. And remember, like, comment, subscribe. Comment your favorite Pokemon game. And I'll see you all later. And this is all my opinion. Goodbye.